How you doing? It's Sunday shit, and I'm going to do a video, an article on Yahoo News, this one pisses me off, and I already had the headline, so anyway, it's called Dutch volleyball child rapist Steven Van De Velde weeps after being booed at Olympics. Child rape is only fucking crying because he got booed at the Olympics. Well, you know what? Guess what? It was deservedly so. Anyway, before getting to the article, if you could follow me on X and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, TikTok, and I'm on BitChute now as well, if you don't mind, please. So if you're on BitChute, you'll find me there. Anyway, I'm going to get into the article now. Convicted child rapist Steven Van De Velde cried during his first interview since competing in the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he was booed by spectators while playing beach volleyball for the Netherlands. Van De Velde, 30, was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2016 after admitting 3 counts of rape against a 12-year-old British girl and served just 12 months of his sentence. Should have been way longer than that. That sentence is nothing but a farce and joke. Some spectators at the Olympics booed every time he served before he and partner Matthew Immers lost to Brazil in straight sets during the final 16 stage of the tournament. At a press conference on Tuesday for the European Beach Volleyball Championships in The Hague, Van De Velde broke down in tears as he spoke about his experience at the Olympic Games. He told how he had definitely thought about not taking part in this year's competition. Oh, what's the matter? You prick. So the thing is, yeah, you feel sorry for yourself, even though you ruined a child's life and a family's life nonetheless. And how seeing a photograph of his wife in a British tabloid almost broke him, Dutch News reports. I did something wrong 10 years ago and I have to live with that, he said. Hurting people close to me, including his wife and volleyball partner Immers, was going too far. That's a moment when I thought, is it worth it to me, said Van De Velde. The athlete added, I know it will play a role in the rest of my life. I have to accept that because I made a mistake. No, there's no such thing as making a mistake. You made a choice. You made a choice to do that. I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in choices. You chose to be a paedophile, you chose to be a child rapist. That was what you did. The International Olympic Committee's decision to allow Van De Velde to compete was met with criticism. This is what I'm saying. I said before in a previous video, looking back on this Olympics is going to be looked at as nothing but a shit show. And the ones who I feel bad for are the other Olympians who won their medals. And it's not going to be, no one's going to be talking about them. Everyone's going to be talking about just the stupid shit that was attached to this Olympics. The organisers allowed this to happen. With Rape Crisis England and Wales CEO Cara Bergman claiming it created an enormous sense of impunity. If you can rape a child and still compete in the Olympics despite all athletes signing a declaration promising to be a role model, that is just shocking, she added. Yeah, he pretty much got rewarded for being a paedophile. That's what that was, the fact that he got allowed to be in the Olympics. The Survivors Trust previously told Yahoo News that the move to allow Van De Velde to compete in the Olympics shows that there is a shocking toleration we have of child sex abuse and called for zero tolerance approach. However, the IOC defended the Dutch Olympic Committee's decision to bring Van De Velde to the Games, with spokesperson Mark Adams saying, this is an issue that was discussed with the National Olympic Committee and they assured us that there were many safeguarding measures. It is understood that Van De Velde stayed in a secret location during the tournament at his own request rather than the athlete's village. He did not take part in the usual post-match mixed zone interviews. In 2014, then aged 19, Van De Velde flew to the UK where he sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl he met online over 2 days. He was aware of the girl's age, having met her on Facebook before travelling from Amsterdam to an address in Milton Keynes. There you go, like I said, he made a choice, he did not make a mistake. He knew her age and he still still done it anyway. The rape was flagged to authorities after the girl visited a sexual health clinic for the morning after pill on the advice of Van De Velde. Yeah, fucking so much class, ain't ya? Van De Velde was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2016 at Aylesbury Crown Court. No, he should have gone way longer than that. Bullshit sentence that is. At the time, Judge Francis Sheridan told him, "Your actions in those 2 days in England have wrecked your life, and you could, had you never come to England, committed these offences, have been a leader in your sport." Like I said, chose to do it. After serving 12 months of his sentence, he was extradited to Netherlands, where authorities said he would complete the rest of the jail term. Having served 1 month in his native country, Van De Velde was released from prison on licence, as his crimes weren't considered rape in the Netherlands, but instead were deemed sexual abuse, as his 12-year-old was considered able to consent. She was 12 years old. How the hell is a 12-year-old going to be able to consent? That's just sickening. That's just a sickening excuse. Netherlands Olympic Committee argues that Van De Velde has served his time, has completed a rehabilitation program, and does not present a risk of further offending. However, Sarah Blakemore, research fellow at the University of Reading School of Law and chief executive of Keeping Children Safe, was unconvinced. She said, "Convicted child rapists have no place at the Olympics, nor do the officials that protect them." Absolutely. The officials that are protecting him, I mean, you're just as bad as him. Every day in every country, children are abused, raped, beaten, neglected, exploited, and even murdered because leaders in organisations put reputation, power, status over creating safer organisational cultures. Competitors have been banned from the Olympics for a variety of reasons, including allegations of doping, marijuana use, and mistreating a horse. And yet this guy was allowed to be in this year's Olympics, and yet he's a paedophile. He was allowed to be in this Olympics. That's even worse than the variety of reasons that I've just read to you. And the Dutchman is still banned from speaking to the girl he raped and is permanently on the UK sex offenders register. And British Olympic icon Paul Radcliffe found herself being dragged into the controversy after wishing Van De Velde good luck at Paris 2024. She told LBC, "I know that he is married now and has settled down. I think it is a tough thing to punish him twice, and if he's managed to successfully turn his life around after being sent to prison and to qualify and to be playing the sport at the highest level, then I actually wish him the best of luck." No, if he wants to move on, he should not be rewarded for doing something as sick as that. He got rewarded for it, that's what happened. And yeah, he cried in an interview, he was like, "Yeah, fucking spare me your fucking tears." Radcliffe referred to athletes caught out for doping who were later allowed to return to their sport after serving bans. After facing backlash for her remarks, Radcliffe apologised in a series of social media posts during the tournament. "I am mortified that I expressed it so badly and didn't condemn the rape out loud. I do believe in second chances after serving punishment, but think the Olympics should be for those who uphold the ideals. That's why I poorly brought the doping comparison in. I myself am shocked and disappointed at how I expressed this so badly. I'm very sorry and should have done much better. I by no means meant to overlook the crime and meant to say those who don't uphold ideals should be excluded, but can't be. I profoundly apologise and am deeply shocked and disappointed in myself. I can't understand how I managed to convey it so badly." What happened was, what you said before is what you meant to say originally. That was what you believed. And you only backpedaled because you got so much shit for it, and rightfully so you did. I mean, saying hardly well done for getting rewarded, even though you messed up a child's life. God, fuck off. Sorry about my language, but yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you could follow me on X and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, TikTok, and I'm on BitChute as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.